Godspeed. My dear madame. Oh, what the hell is she cooking? What is she cooking? Uh-oh. She's cooking something up. When I awoke the following morning, Susato-san was already gone. Outside the window, the rain came down in sheets, and so began an even longer day than the last, one that I will remember for the rest of my days. Oh geez. What is she cooking up? The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Good morning, Gina. Oh, she hates us. Stop turning up your nose at me. What the hell? I'm determined to prove your innocence today. I'm sure we can do it. So where's your friend then? Sorry? You know, her in a fancy dress. Susato, or however you say it? I don't know. Well, Susato had to leave early this morning. She was already gone by the time I woke up. You alright with that, are you? Forget about me if you like. Go and see her off. It's fine. It's not as though Miss Susato and I won't ever meet again. One day. Even so, but you, Gina, you only get one chance. This trial today is all we have. Good morning, you two. How are you feeling, Ginny? Did you manage to sleep? Iris, what are you doing here? We're bringing a cat to the courtroom. We have our emotional support cat in the courtroom. We have to pet our emotional support cat just in case we have some, nervous energy. What do you mean? When a friend is in need, we show our support. Isn't that right, Waggy? Oh no! Ah, Waggy! Great. Great way to show your support, kitty. Let me have a nose around. What harm can it do? Well, that reminds me. I bought a paper on the way here. Now, would you like the good news or the bad news? What do you say, Renaud Ginny? Oh, well, I think I'd like to get the bad news out of the way first. Nah, always take the good news first. You might not live to hear the bad. Yes, that question always gives away people's personalities. Let's not go there. Alright then, I'll give you the bad news first. A record amount of rain has fallen this morning and carriages all over the capital are struggling to move. Huh? The bad news was a weather report? So I hope that Susie made her train to Dover and that the train isn't delayed on its way to port. Gosh, yes. Alright then, so what's the good news? Well, the rain is forecast to subside this afternoon. So even if a train is delayed, it should be able to make up the time later. Well, that is good news, isn't it? I couldn't give a monkeys, really. Only all good news canceled out the bad. And look, the trials made the headlines too. Pawnbroker perishes in pickup purse plunder. Pick purse plunder, see? Tisk, how do you like that? Well, let them say what they want. See if I care. I can't because you're covering your face. Don't worry, Bruno will show everyone that this headline is nonsense. I will? And then tomorrow's papers, the headlines will be Discharged diver is dauntless do-gooder. Isn't that right, Bruno? Oh, yes, let's hope so. Of course they will. I have absolute faith in you. How was that? I was trying to sound like Susie. Did it work? Did it? It's like she was still here. Today's paper has been entered into the court record. Okay. Good luck then, Bruno. I'll do what I can. I've got to see. Pawnbroker perishes in pick purse plunder. How awful. For Ginny, I mean. But tomorrow's headline will be discharged diver's dauntless do-gooder, right? Yeah, something like that. If possible, I'd like to go even bigger. Bigger? How? Proud pickpocket protects planet post-trial, perhaps. Protects planet? Oh, I can't wait for tomorrow now. It's going to be so great. Oh my god. Okay. There's a sensational story lower down on the front page as well. Ministry Mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice. For a 10-year-old, Iris certainly has her finger on the pulse of world news. It's about secret communications between Great Britain and its allies. Uh-oh. Apparently they're being intercepted by hostile nations. Communications are being intercepted? But how would somebody be doing that? That's the question, isn't it? I've come up with 3 different methods so far. Are you looking for a new career, Runo? No, of course not. Wonder. Perhaps this is what Lord Strongheart was talking about yesterday. Yes, it could be. It could explain why he and Gregsy running from pillar to post at the moment. Mason Milverton. Okay. Obviously, I don't know law like Susie does, but still. I'll be by your side the whole time, giving you moral support and encouragement with a bazooka. She's bringing a bazooka into court. She's like, okay, now you're gonna say you're not there, that Ginny is not guilty. Shoots a rocket into the air. I'm not sure that big thing is as comforting as you think it is, to be honest. But thank you, Iris. It's very kind of you. Oh yeah, Iris. Yes, Ginny? Well, I was wondering, is all, about Sholmes. Did they fix him up all right? Yes. The operation was a great success. But Hurley still hasn't come around yet. Eh? I've asked a friend of mine at Scotland Yard to send a telegram as soon as he wakes up. I'm sure Gregson will let us know the moment there's news. Oh, right. No Susano-san and no Mr. Sholmes. It's all down to me today to prove Gina's innocent of this crime. Miss Gina Lestrade, counsel for the defense. Trial is about to begin. Please make your way into the courtroom. It's time then. Yes, let's go, Gina. Iris. Lead the way, Runo. Indeed, I will lead my way into the courtroom with very good vigor. Poor Gina. She's trying to put on a brave face, but I can tell she's worried and scared. I have to believe in her from the start to finish. That's a weapon that will secure our victory there. Take aim at a certain prosecutor's wine glasses? True. If I learned anything from my great friend, it's that. Yeah, just take aim at his wine. He's like, hey, that's my wine! Stop that! My wine! My wine! Van Zeeks is here. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare the court to be in session. The trial shall determine the guilt or innocence of Miss Gina Lestrade, and I'll call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. Defense is ready. Lord Von Zeeks, my lord. Remind me, how many years ago was it that withdrew from public prosecution service? It was some 5 years ago, my lord. Yes, and then 2 months ago you resurfaced somewhat unexpectedly, and here you are again today. Are there some circumstances of which the court should be aware that have led to this erratic behavior? In what one might describe as your former life 5 years past, you dealt exclusively in matters concerned with the highest echelons of society and government. Really? Yet today, you choose to try a simple case of burglary and murder. I confess, I find it a little more than a little befuddling, Counsel. There are two types of person I cannot abide. Firstly, those wealthy scoundrels who hide behind a mask of philanthropy and to cheat the public at large. He means Mr. McGilded, who you defended against the Reaper 2 months ago. Yes, I just about managed to work that out. Thank you. Magnus McGilded. If I'd known you what a monster he was, I never would have defended him. And secondly, even more loathsome, those wily scoundrels who masquerade as allies only to effect total betrayal in the final hour. In other words, confidence tricksters from those tiny islands in the Far East. The Nipponese. What? Did he really just say that? Oh God. He means you now, Runo. Thank you. Thank you there. Iris, thank you. I didn't know who he was talking to. Definitely didn't know that. Total betrayal? What are you talking about? That torrid look of hatred in Lord Von Zeke's eyes. Was that directed solely at me, or was he talking about all Japanese people? An alarmingly scathing explanation, Lord Von Zeke's. Still, the judiciary welcomes the return of the so-called Reaper of the Bailey, feared by all of London's malefactors. Your lordship is too kind. Now, jurors, the 6 of you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Oh dear God. Some of these people just can't get off of jury duty. Some of these people just can't get off jury duty. Why is the one guy that, oh my God, one of the jurors is the guy from the second case, by the way. Are you ready to hear the evidence placed before you and determine the guilt or innocence of the defendant? Former lieutenant of the British Army here. Don't you know, chaps like me were born ready. Clean crockery, clean cutlery, and a clean conscience. His lordship's motto is very appropriate here, I think. Everything will be stereoscopic in the future. Absolutely everything. I'm ready for it. I don't understand it. I can't have left it in there. It's not possible, but could I have? Women indispensable in society, stop. Female-centric future awaits, stop. Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please. Old man's a doctor now. Who expected that? Exactly. Is something wrong, Runo? Oh, not exactly. It's just... I'm fairly sure I recognize these jurors. Almost all of them, in fact. Really? Funny coincidences like that do happen from time to time, don't they? But it's quite strange. The jurors are chosen at random from London's 6 million inhabitants, you know. So I've been led to believe. But something tells me I'm being duped. Very well. Now, Lord Von Zeeks. The court calls upon the prosecution to introduce the facts of the case. As you wish, my lord. Allow me to begin with a word of warning to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. In short, there has never been a more self-evident case of cold-blooded murder. The victim, Mr. Pop Windabank, proprietor of a pawn shop on Baker Street, was shot from behind and died instantly. Prosecution presents this photographic print of the crime scene. As the court will observe, there is a single bullet wound just below the gentleman's left shoulder. Evidence suggests that the bullet pierced this man's heart, resulting in near instant death. Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner, his report states the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. And what's that supposed to tell us? It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Someone like the accused, you might say. Oh? Prosecution wishes to present the autopsy report and crime scene photograph as evidence, my lord. Indeed, the court accepts. Hand them to the bailiff, please. I now ask the court to turn its attention to the plan of the establishment where the incident occurred. Proprietor was found in his storeroom where he kept articles pawned to him. A windowless room with a single point of entry, a door to the main shop that was found and locked. In this sealed chamber, there were only 2 persons present. The victim, Mr. Windibank, and the accused. It may further interest the court to know that when the accused was discovered at the scene, she had in her hand the gun used to fire the fatal bullet. Oh God. Well, it wasn't a headshot, so that he didn't shoot himself, true. Oh well, it was only a matter of time before she got blood on her hands then. Girls,
objection.
We can't jump to conclusions here. We mustn't assume her guilt because of what she has to do to survive. My learned Nepalese friend, it is you who mustn't jump to conclusions. Prosecution has barely begun presenting its case. Conveniently, this appalling act of murder did not go unobserved. There were witnesses. Good gracious! How was there witnesses in a windowless room, After their testimony, this girl's true nature will be exposed. Pitiful picked purse or cold-hearted killer. Give me 1 second. Okay. Here's to establishing the truth. The court will take the floor plan and the firearm into evidence. Hand them to the bailiff, please, Lord Von Zeeks. At once, my lord. Give me 1 second there, guys. Alright, there we go. God damn. This isn't good. I feel like the mood in here has turned very gloomy all of a sudden. Okay, we gotta look at our... Okay. This is Mr. Windibank's gun. The cylinder is completely empty. Mr. Windibank always used to keep his gun on hand in his shop counter. Yes, but only with a single bullet loaded. That's right. Keep all the pawned articles that was in his care safe. But his 1 bullet was fired that night, and the poor man lost his life. Was he protecting his shop, I wonder? Trying to keep all the articles safe. Okay, I'm just making sure there's nothing else here. I think that's because it has. Let us begin. Bring forth the witnesses of foul murder of Mr. Pop Windabank on 16th of April this year. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Names Nash Skulkin. Occupations baddie, professional baddie. Name's Ringle Skulkin. Occupations same as him. Tobias Gregson, Scotland Yard Inspector. That's right. We're what they call the three Skulkin brothers. What are you looking at me for like that for? Don't lump me in with you lot. Core blimey, that's cold. Don't you know what we're going through? It's our older bruv, lost contact with him we have. We were scouring every shady corner of the capital. And last night we came across you. Very spit of the bloke. Ain't that right, Ringo? He is, Nash, and he is. A very spit of him. So we decided there and then what we was gonna do. We was gonna call you Big Bruv Sulky. Come on, leave it out, you two. Sulky is skulking, and that's before he's run out of chips. Well then, Inspector Sulky Gregson. Begging your pardon, my lord, but my name's Tobias. What I would like to know, Inspector, is what are you doing in the witness stand? The Skulkin brothers are currently under arrest, my lord, on suspicion of theft. Thieves are they, these three? No, my lord, begging your pardon, but please don't lump me in with this lie. 2 nights ago, these two brothers illegally entered an establishment with an attempt to burgle. And in the course of their nefarious activities, they became embroiled in a far more sinister crime. By Jove, you mean to say, what an extraordinary coincidence. They could have shot him! Indeed, my lord, while attempting to burglarize the pawnbrokery, they witnessed its proprietor's murder. Order R! The various trespasses of these brothers is not the subject of today's proceedings, though they will naturally face trial in the very near future. With your lordship's permission, I'd like to remain in the stand to keep these gents on straight and narrow. Of course, Inspector. Skeptical as I am about the caliber of these witnesses, I will permit them to take the stand. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you will now testify before the court. Describe the events of the night in question, what exactly you saw. Happy to. Because the Skulkin's never skulkin'. Excuse me? Get out of it. Illegal entry. We was walking down Baker Street in the small hours, and the gap's door was ajar, you see. It was like some kind of sign, begging for us to go in, it was. Well, once we got inside, core blimey lummy, we heard a gunshot from the back room. We went to see what was what, but the door was locked from the inside. We never done nothing, governor. We never took nothing. We just left after that, nice and quiet. Oh yeah, sure, love this. Governor, by the way. A terrible coincidence, it would seem. At the precise moment the miscreants entered the property, an even more sinister crime was afoot. Witnesses' testimony is consistent with the crime scene in every detail. The door providing access to the storeroom from the main shop was indeed locked from the inside. And within, only the victim and the accused were found. I must say, it does appear to be an overwhelmingly simple case. Still, defense may cross-examine the witnesses now. Of course, counsel, if you please. Counsel? Yes. What's the matter, Bruno? Sorry, I was just stunned into silence for a minute by the blatant lies being told by that pair on the stand. I know that it's all nonsense because I saw it with my own eyes. I'll just have to expose their testimony for the pack of lies it is. Okay. Says we dropped 66 frames. And that was it. Alright.
Hold it!
Alright. The front door of Windabanks was ajar, you say. What time of night was this? Must have been about 1. Right, Ringo? Right, I'd say so. Right, Skulky? The Sulky? How would I know? The place would have been shut at 1 in the morning, just like every other shop in town. Well, it was pitch black inside, it's true. Ain't that right, Ringo? I'm not so sure, Nash. I seem to remember a little light burning inside. What about you, Sulky? Me old... Leave me alone. There definitely was a small lamp burning inside. That's what alerted us to the situation in the first place. And when these gentlemen ventured into the open establishment, the accused Miss Gina Lestrade already had the muzzle of the gun trained on the unfortunate victim.
Objection!
That's pure conjecture. Perhaps. But it changes nothing. These brothers inadvertently wandered into the middle of a cold-blooded murder, simply because they found the door of the victim's establishment open and ventured inside. Right, that's what happened.
Hold it!
What are you trying to suggest? That you had to go in? Well, God moves in mysterious ways, they say, don't they, Ringo? They do, Nash, they do. Must have been some sort of providence, I reckon. God's will often presents itself on the whim of thieves, does it? It weren't no whim, I'm dead sure of that. It weren't, Nash, it weren't. Like we said at the time. You don't just find doors open in the middle of the night like that. Nah, there's no two ways about it. It was a sign that our long-lost brother was inside. They're not very good liars, are they? Well, you can't deny it. It led us to a bloke what looks like, just like our bruv. I said cut it out. These chips are getting a chomping today.
Hold it!
A gunshot, you say? Just the one? Are you sure about that? Yep, just the one, governor. I can swear to that. It was Nash, it was. Ain't that right, bruv? Firearm used belonged to the victim himself. Yes, Mr. Windabank always used to leave his gun lying around on the counter. Right, I remember. When we examined it, we found the revolver was completely out of rounds. It makes sense. Mr. Windabank always used to say he only ever kept a single bullet loaded. That's true. I remember him saying that as well. Only a single round was discharged from the firearm used as a murder weapon. Yes, my lord, we can. And I should remind the court that the firearm in question was discovered in the hand of the accused. Wonderful.
Hold it!
Do you mean the door between the main shop and the storeroom? If my learned friend is having difficulty grasping the situation, perhaps a drawing would help. Excluding the shop's entrance from the street, there's only one other door, that of the storeroom. Of course, there was only a little oil lamp burning, not much to see by. And the door was in behind a curtain and all. That's right. When we arrived, the door was mostly obscured by that curtain. Tell me, why exactly did you try to open that door? Eh? Any normal petty theft would run at the sound of a gunshot, I should think. Oh, well, your turn to rabbit, Ringo. Well, Nash, yeah. I suppose you'd have to say we ain't normal, eh? Broadly speaking, humans respond one of two ways hearing gunshot or scream. Timid flee, gripped by fear, while the courageous investigate to see if they might help. These gentlemen are of the latter inclination, my learned Nepalese friend, it would seem, is of the former. Alright, somehow I just proved that I was a coward that night. Thank you, counsels. So I believe we all understand the door was locked and could not be opened. Proceed, witness. Oh God.
Hold it!
You didn't do or take anything. Is that your story? Well, it was bedlam soon as, weren't it? It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out of me Lucy lockets. So, with no time to take your hands out of your pockets, you just left, nice and quietly, you say. That's right, Governor. Nothing we ate more than violence. Peace, loving. We are, not bludgers. We are, Nash, we are. Never even pulled me dukes out, me Lucy lockets. So you'd clearly like us to believe, come again? As you fled from the pawnbrokers that night, did you not run into anyone else? And did you not fire a gun at that person? Saints alive, they fired a gun, you say? Blimey, Governor. You ain't telling us it was you in the doorway. It was. Why the bleeding Nora? Didn't you mention that before? You were armed with a gun. And as you fled the scene, you fired that gun at London's greatest detective, Sherlock Sholmes. They shot the great Mr. Sholmes? I did hear that, actually. There was a rumor he'd been the great Sholmes? That's beyond the pale. On the night in question, this pair were arrested by the police within minutes of the discovery of the crime scene. Their suspicious continuance rapidly gave them away. And when searched, a firearm was indeed found in their possession. Furthermore, the barrel shows signs of a shot having been fired from it. The prosecution invites his lordship to examine the firearm recovered from these brothers. Yes, indeed. Remnants of the powder around the muzzle, as you can. The court will hold this weapon as evidence. All right. Want to look at that? Want to look at that evidence? So there's ammunition still loaded in five of this revolver's 6 cylinders. Yes, which tells us only a single shot has been fired from it. Exactly. The bullet that hit Hurley, in fact, isn't. Yes, it happened almost as soon as we walked in through Windibank's door. I'll make those brothers pay. Now my learned Nepalese friend. Yes? Here's to your successfully presenting the evidence. For yes, there are the telltale signs of spent powder on this gun, and a single bullet missing from the cylinder. But the prosecution demands evidence that was fired at the scene of the crime under scrutiny in this trial.
Objection.
Well, I don't need evidence, because I was there.
Objection.
However, the rest of us in the courtroom were not. If the defense fails to provide evidence in support of its rash claim, we shall have no choice but to toast your incompetence and move on. Evidence that these two fired the gun before they left Windibanks that night. What evidence shows that these witnesses unloaded a fire? Okay. The reporting party is me. It's not this. It's not that. It's either this or this. Because that's gunpowder residue right around this. I ain't done it, governor, indeed.
Take that.
Alright. Fine. I'm pretty sure it's gotta be the autopsy photo. It's not this. Or maybe this. Oh.
Take that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's the crime scene photo. It's gotta be the crime scene photo.
Take that.
Damn it. It's gotta be the crime scene photo.
Take that.
Oh, it's the blood sample. I'm so stupid.
Take that.
What is happening? The evidence is in this portfolio. What? What on earth have you there, Consul? During the course of our investigations, we discovered a number of bloodstains. Not trusting the police to do the job they're trained to do. How arrogantly Nepalese of you. Well, anyway, we analyzed all the blood samples we found and recorded the results in this portfolio. And claim to have the evidence the court is demanding therein? Yes, my lord. No more dallying around then, Consul. Present the pertinent evidence at once. What do you have in your portfolio that proves the witnesses unloaded a firearm at the scene? I mean, it's obviously this.
Take that!
What is that? Explain! It's photographic print taken at Windabank's pawnbrokery on the day of the incident. From the scene of the crime, is it? Is that a bullet hole? If my eyes do not deceive me, it appears the bullet is still lodged there. Yes, as your lordship noticed, the bullet pierced Mr. Windabank's calendar. The date shown being the 16th of April, the very day of the pawnbroker's death. The incident occurred at 1 hour after midnight, but this indicates that a separate shot had been fired sometime after the calendar had been set to the 16th. That's right, and while it isn't irrefutable, the defense believes that this is credible evidence that the witnesses did fire a round from their gun in the pawnbrokers that night. Uh-oh. If that is the direction my learned friend wishes to take, the prosecution has no objection. What? But you'll forgive me for flinging my Halo Chalice aside in disgust at the repugnancy it exposes. Yes, on the night in question, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery illegally. And like the bold baddies they claim to be, opened fire on the new arrivals before fleeing back onto the street. Take it easy there, Governor. You're gonna land us in the soup. We had a deal. You weren't going to get into them details. Tell him, Sulky. Let's set the bloke straight. I have nothing to add. So he knew, did he? Van Zeeks knew their testimony would almost certainly expose the extent of their crimes. It would seem now that I owe my learned Nepalese friend a word of gratitude. What do you mean? What I mean is that you have helpfully confirmed an important fact. To what fact do you refer, Lord Van Zeeks? As has been established, at the point of their arrest, a single shot had been fired by the brother's gun. However, if that shot found its target in Mr. Sholmes, then clearly these witnesses cannot be accused of fatal shooting of the proprietor and victim. In other words, these two men have no material connection to the murder of Mr. Windabank at all. So that's it. They're playing patty cake with one another. What the hell? That's it. We didn't have nothing to do with it. We didn't, Nash. We didn't. That's what I reckon. Their crimes include unlawful entry, intent to steal, perjury, and let us not forget attempted murder. Quite a catalog, eh, fellas? We're in it for it now, bruv. Now then, let us take a moment to consider the aforementioned great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It would seem the man patronized the pawnbrokers in question somewhat regularly. Where's he going with this? Mr. Sholmes appears to take pleasure in tinkering with eccentric machinery. Eccentric, says who? Not me, don't give me that look. He installed a pair of machines like this one in the victim's shop. Oh, that's one of Hurley's red-handed recorders. What is that, Consul? Is the appearance of a photographic contraption? As your lordship has surmised, is indeed a camera attached to a small timing device. Every half an hour, it automatically photographs the interior of the establishment. The idea being that if a thief were to break into the shop, he would be caught red-handed. Prosecution has obtained the photographs taken by the device in the night in question. As the court will observe, copious identical prints are produced in quite a desultory fashion. Rather prodigal, I feel. In fact, there are 2 such devices in the victim's shop, my lord. If I may refer to the court, the plan of premises, their respective positions are here and here. You say these cameras produce a print every hour. I'm afraid I fail to see how that would help if the anticipated thief conducted his activities in one of the many 30-minute intervals. One can only pray that the would-be criminal lingers, my lord. On the night in question, the witnesses currently in the stand were not caught on camera. That's a bit of Friar Tuck, eh, bruv? Lady Luck loves a skulkin'. Witnesses, at what time did your trespassing begin? It must have been just after 1. Right, bruv? Must have been, Nash. Must have been. Yeah, just gone 1. In which case, minutes before these brothers entered the establishment, what scene might we expect to see within the shop? Let us examine the evidence. Good lord! It's the defendant! Miss Gina Lestrade! As the court can clearly see, the accused is pictured gun in hand facing the victim over the shop counter. No doubt coercing the proprietor to open the door to his storeroom. One can only too easily imagine the events that unfolded. The court will take this photographic print as evidence, if you please, counsel. Oh God. I don't believe it. Ginny? In short, the accused is the only person who could have killed Mr. Windibank. Wonder if I might put in a word at this point. Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Take a Bailey bullet to the knee in the Battle of Maiwan, 1880, don't you know? Decorated for it and all that, but forced to retire from service, sadly. Of course, a medal can never outshine the exploits of chaps like us on the battlefield. Yes, Mr. Foreman, and what exactly is your point? Carried on the battle after retirement, you see, in the battle of daily life, if you like. And here I am now, leading this small squadron, 6 men, all good and true. And we'll go down together. You'll mark my words. 1 for all and all for one. Oh God. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached agreement, have they? Is that what we are to understand? Well, Mr. Foreman, is that correct? In a manner of speaking, yes. That is the Gyarados Squadron's position, sir. What? No, it's too soon to make a judgment here. Status report for the court, men, on the double. His lordship insists on promptitude at all times, and that goes for making decisions, too. I think you'll find the truth as clear as day now. I could reach out and touch it. I wouldn't have left it in there. I just wouldn't. But in all honesty, I can't actually remember. Situation clear, stop. No room for doubt, stop. Truth, now undeniable, stop. I am very sorry for brothers. They are unlucky. Very well. I now call upon each member of the jury to state his or her leaning in this matter. Announce your considered verdicts to the court.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Oh God. It does indeed appear that a jury is unanimous and is leaning already. That photograph, it must be definitive evidence that Gregson mentioned. But Ginny didn't shoot him. No, of course not. My lord, the defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination. Very well. Court grants permission. So, you refuse to admit defeat again. How unsurprising. We shall proceed immediately with summation examination. Mr. Foreman, are all members of the jury ready? Absolutely, sir. Always ready for action, my chaps. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty. All the evidence clearly points finger of guilt at this young pickpocketian. As a housemaid, I should like to see all the filthy eyesores promptly and rigorously eliminated. I think you'll find that if you look at the photograph in stereo, the truth will just pop out. If I've left it in there, I should think there'll be repercussions by now. My made up stop. Global radio transmission of verdict to follow. Stop. In motherland, we say never judge by clothes, judge by head. I am convinced brothers are innocent. Circumstance of the crime and the evidence do indeed implicate the defendant rather comprehensively. The storeroom locked from the inside, in which the victim and the accused were discovered alone. In the accused's hands, the fatal revolver, the firing of which was heard by the witnesses. Not to mention this print. Take it from a chap who's seen action on the battlefield. That young girl's on the verge of pulling the bally trigger. Thanks a lot, Mr. Sholmes. Oh dear, Hurley's cameras were supposed to help, not hinder. I'm afraid I think you have an uphill struggle ahead of you. But Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windenbank, also. Which means there's more to the situation that we've yet to see. Agreed. You have the floor, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination. Jury examination. And here we go. Here we go there, guys. We going crazy here. Okay. Okay.
Hold it!
You're Mr. Natsume's landlord, Mr. Garadeb, aren't you? We really must stop meeting like this. Ah, you're that lawyer chap. Well, there's a turn up for the books. Yes, rather a turbulent time we had back then. Some extraordinary events took place at your house, that's for sure. Luckily, Mr. Sholmes and I were able to get to the bottom of it all. I think we did rather a lot for you, didn't we? I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be suggesting that therefore you should change your leaning to not guilty or anything. Can't be denied, I suppose. The curse of the Garadeb house was the talk of the town after that business. Lodgers moved out and I couldn't get a bellied soul to take up the tenancies. Oh? Haven't had the heart to break the news to Joni yet. Bad enough the old girl's clapped up. Yes, can't be denied. You did do a rather lot, but not for us. That's for dash certain. Suppose not. Of course, there can be no suggestion of that being the reason I'm leaning towards guilty here, obviously. But honestly, I really wish he'd pay more attention to the trial and less to juror number 2.
Hold it!
Polishing the bench, I see. Again. A maid's work is never done. Not a blemish must remain. What exactly do you mean by filthy eyesores? On my way to the market for his lordship, I have to pass through the East End. The place is full of beggars, pick-pursers, and crossmen, the scum of the earth. A little harsh, perhaps. Let me be plain. If it were up to me, all those back slums would be made spick and span or eradicated. At least we have people like the great detective working to achieve these important goals. You're referring to Mr. Herlock Sholmes? That's right. I like to keep abreast of his exploits by reading Rant's magazine in between my duties. He does wonders cleaning up London streets. In my opinion, he should be declared an honorary maid of the capital. Excuse me? He's like, yo. He puts on a maid outfit now. That'd be his next costume. Herlock Sholmes in a maid outfit. Mr. Sholmes, a maid? It's really quite unforgivable. Gutter scum having the audacity to shoot our very greatest detective. Minor detail. It was the 2 brothers in the stand who shot Mr. Sholmes, not the defendant. A minor detail indeed. They're all gutter scum as far as I'm concerned. Well, it might just be an idea to get our facts straight anyway. Yes. Alright, I shall amend my statement. Okay, that was helpful.
Hold it!
What do you mean, look at the photograph in stereo? Sorry, what? Don't you know? If you look at the photograph print normally, it looks as though the pickpocket girl is about to shoot the victim, obviously.
Objection!
But there's no indication that the defendant ever fired the gun. All I'm saying is that if you look at the same print in stereo, it could reveal all sorts of new information. By any chance, are you a fan of stereoscopes? Oh, how did you know? Let's call it a lucky guess. It never gets old seeing the 2 prints merge into one before your eyes. It's extraordinary, it's captivating, it's the height of modernity. Of course. Oh yes, I think you'll find the stereoscope is here to stay. Giving us new perspectives we can only dream of before. It's the greatest invention the world has ever seen. If only it could give me a new perspective on this case, I might agree with you. If I have...
Hold it!
What exactly have you been muttering about all this time, sir? Keep talking about having left something somewhere on something like that? Ah, so sorry. As you can probably tell, I'm a surgeon. A surgeon? That totally passed me by. Of course, people conducting surgery in this country aren't considered to be doctors. Oh no. Even though me and my kind are the forefront of medical science, the real brains in the field. So what is it that you think you've left behind? Ah, well, that's a little embarrassing to be honest. You see, I was operating on someone yesterday. Staring thing went in through the abdomen. But when I finished the procedure, I couldn't find my scalpel anywhere. Oh no, you lost a scalpel in someone's body? Uh-oh. He's like, I just misplaced that thing. I stitched that guy up. I guess we'll have to wait. What did he? Surely not. Exactly, surely not. You say to yourself, don't you? Worrying, isn't it? That's what's been troubling me this whole time. Could I really have left my scalpel inside the fellow's belly? No, of course I couldn't. So, there you have it. Like I said, a little embarrassing, really. That's one way of putting it. The other is manslaughter. That's exactly my concern. And seeing as this case appears to be all sewn up, I need to focus on trying to remember exactly what I've sewn up elsewhere. Now, I'm sure I made sure everything was back as it should be. Well, as sure as you can be without being sure. I'm sure you need to be more sure. This game originally being 3DS and all this stereoscopic hype, this case, hell yeah. Oh shit, no, I want to go back.
Hold it!
Sorry, radio transmission? What do you mean? Are you from the Far East? Stop. Yes, from the Empire of Japan. All communication with Far Eastern nations used to take place by mail. Royal Mail steamers take more than a month to complete the journey. Ah, but now we have the electric telegram, so we can send messages using electrical signals. Thousands of miles of cables have been laid along ocean beds, connecting the entire world. Thousands of miles of cable on the ocean bed? Makes my head hurt thinking about it. You are well informed, young lady. Hee hee. But cables will soon become a thing of the past. Stop. And just when I started catching up. Radio transmission is the future. Stop. Messages carried over airways to four corners of the globe. Stop. Excitement growing. Stop. Atmosphere electric. Stop. Right? Try not to wear out your fingers. Era wireless telegraphy. Stop. Driving technological revolution. Stop. And people say inventions like the stereoscope are the height of technology. What utter piffle. I can't understand it. I really can't. They're just silly toys. Don't spare any feelings, will you? It's not like there's anyone here who likes stereoscopes. So, why exactly do you think the defendant is guilty? It's quite simple. We haven't been shown a scrap of evidence to suggest that she isn't the culprit. And just as radio waves dash through the skies faster than the eye can see, so we should dash in the conclusion of this trial. Stop pandering to indecision.
Hold it!
Please tell me you're not violent Bolshevik. The Russian revolutionary. Revolutionary? Da. I believe there's such a rumor. It's just a rumor. As you see, I have unfortunate appearance. I look like vicious criminal. Your words, not mine. Just want to point that out. People call me revolutionary, murderer, autocrat. And which glove fits? Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please. Damn. To be treated like vicious criminal all the time. It is very painful. People do not realize. So I have much sympathies for these brothers. People say they are criminals only because of how they look. The Skulkin brothers? Da. Maybe they went inside pawnbroker's shop. But they have done nothing wrong. That is all I want to say. Skulkin brothers did nothing wrong that night. Alright, well first of all, that's one not so little misunderstanding I'll need to clear up straight away. Tell me something, Iris. What is it, Reno? Jurors are chosen at random from the inhabitants of London town, aren't they? Yes, it's amazing, isn't it? In that case, how is it that there's a Russian tourist sitting among them who looks for all the world like a revolutionary? I wish I knew. Jenny would never shoot anyone. Okay. Okay.
Objection!
Those two statements clearly contradict each other. Good Lord! Counsel, explain yourself. Oh my statement? Contradictory? Juror number 6, you've got the wrong end of the stick. I do not have stick. I have mouse. As juror number 2 said earlier, when Skulkin brothers fled the scene on the night in question, they fired a shot from their revolver. Yes, they shot poor Mr. Schultz in the abdomen. I understand. Surely you're not going to tell the court now that you didn't hear. Abdomen? Sir? Sorry. My English is still learning. You are telling the court you didn't hear. Forgive me. I did not hear. Ugh. Ah, here is a word. Abdomen. Part of person's body containing stomach and other vital organs. If this is what you mean, you should say in plain English, I am Russian, not native speaker. Who thought it was a good idea to let this man be on a jury again? So, you are telling me these brothers who look like criminals were lying. They said before, we never done nothing. But truth is, they shot detective. Da. This is double negative. That's exactly right. Lying is wrong. Especially when lie is said by person who looks like criminal. Coming from you, that seems surprisingly prejudiced. This means, when they said, we never took nothing, maybe it was also big fat lie. This true. Well, according to the police report, no stolen goods were found, so... Enough! I trust no one now. It's not the mouse's fault, though, sir. I must see with own eyes. I must investigate crime scene myself. Easily. Sorry? With the prints from Hurley's red-handed recorder. Ah, we compare the print that pictures Ginny and the next print from half an hour later. You'll be able to see straight away if anything was taken or not. Tut. Calling on the prosecution in the middle of a summation examination of all times. Print showing the accused threatening the victim after she broke into the shop is this one. Following this, the victim and the accused moved into the storeroom. Meanwhile, the Skulkin brothers entered the shop and summarily heard the fatal gunshot ring out. Sadly, none of these events were captured on film. This is a print produced by a camera half an hour later, after the brothers' flight. So this was taken after Hurley was shot. As far as I can tell. Can't notice anything that's obviously missing in the second print. So, The brothers who look like criminals told only one lie. They shot man, but they stole nothing. It would seem so, yes. Good. No, not good. You were right. I did not understand. I did not understood situation. Now I know brothers have lied. I think it is very important to continue with trial. Me want munchies, indeed. And welcome back there, Bjarn. How was RDR2 so far? Yay, well done, Runo. The balance is shifting. Well, it's a start, I suppose. But there must be more in what these jurors are saying that I can use to expose the truth. If I can do that, we just might turn the situation in our favor. Okay, I think...
Objection.
Okay. Was fun. It's an amazing game. Beat it like 3 times and watch 4 playthroughs on YouTube. Hell yeah.
Hold it. Objection.
Okay.
Hold it.
Uh-oh. He's mad!
Excuse me.
Juror number 3. Sorry to interrupt when you're obviously fuming, but... What? Do you perhaps have something to say about juror number 5's last remark? As if I couldn't guess. Oh, you bet I do! Say that again! Go on, I dare you! Goodness, are you talking to me? I think you just might be, yes. You think stereoscopes are just toys, do you? Huh? Absolutely. I mean, really, a machine to view photographs in 3 dimensions? Why on earth would you not just use your eyes to look at the world around you? It's all 3-dimensional. What a great way to appease the man. No, I'm sorry. Stereoscopes are of no practical use at all. You You just don't know! Pardon? I think you'll find that viewing a photograph through a stereoscope can unlock all sorts of possibilities. I'm obviously going to have to demonstrate. What sort of possibilities? Well, take a crime scene for example. If you had a pair of photographs from a crime scene that you could view through a stereoscope, it could reveal hidden clues you never noticed before. What? Have you got any, Runo? Any prints that we could use? Absolutely. How about this print here? Should do the trick, I think.
Take that!
Alright then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any two suitable photographic prints? Of course I can! Very well then. I have bad news. What's the bad news there, Bjarn? Uh-oh, bad news. I'd like you to demonstrate. I'd be delighted to. Just give me one more print and I'll amaze you all.
Take that!
Ubisoft is still in business. Oh God. Alright, these two prints were both taken with the same camera and window banks on the night in question. Yes, I see. Tell me, Mr. Lawyer, do you know how stereographic images work? Do you understand the principle? Well, I think so. I did have a lesson only yesterday. Hell, my phone died. Oh geez. Left and right eye images need to be the same, only with a slight shift in the position of some objects. Then when your brain merges the two images together inside your head, it notices the shift as if it were depth. Back from the dead? Oh, nice. Yes, exactly! It's that small shift between certain objects in the two pictures that's really important. So what happens if your two photographs are exactly the same then? No, obviously that wouldn't work at all. Not for seeing the scene three-dimensionally anyway. Oh, of course, now I see. I think the young girl has discovered a secret. I have. Can you uncross your eyes before you tell me? I bet it on 3DS. These photos show 3D. Have another look at these two pictures from Hurley's camera, Runo. Go on. You can see there's a really obvious difference between them. There are two people in the first and no people in the second. Well, yes, you can see that straight away. But now, you try looking at pictures in 3 dimensions. Alright, I'll give it a go. So to start with, you have to cross your eyes and then make the two pictures overlap exactly. Wait. Well, did you manage to see it properly, Runo? Oh, God. What's going on with these two pictures? Some of the things I encountered sort of jump out at you. Yes! That's it, you see! That's the other amazing power stereoscopes! Other amazing power? Is someone going to explain this black magic, eh? Why the deuce do some of the things on the counter seem to jump out at you like that? I think you'll find that if you consider the basic principle of the stereoscope, you'll answer your own question. Basic principles of the stereoscope? As I said before, if you try to look at two identical pictures using a stereoscope, it won't work at all. It's the slight shift in the positions of certain objects that lets you see the pictures three-dimensionally. In other words, even though at first glance, it seems objects in the counter haven't moved at all between the two pictures. This shows that actually there must have been a slight shift in their positions. Yes, there must have been. Oh geez. Now hold the fire there, sir. Got a reasonable grasp on this whole cross-eyed business now, I'd say. But why the devil does this shift between the two prints exist in the first place? Well, what's the answer, fellow? Come on, you cross-eyed master. What? Me? I haven't a first idea. You know, Runo. It's quite simple. It is? Just think it through step by step. The first photograph was taken at 1 a.m. Then, 30 minutes later, the second photograph was taken. But the position of some items on counters appears to have shifted slightly in the interim. So that means that sometime in the half-hour interval, someone must have tampered with things on the counter. Someone tampered? New information, stop. Not mentioned in testimony so far, stop. Yes, we've had to go around in circles a little here. It seems it's starting to see what I should be aiming at in this summation examination now. Ladies and gentlemen, the question now is clear. We know the items on the countertop were removed, but by whom? Are you suggesting you might know? Of course. I can tell you right now who's responsible for the imperceptible shift. It's obviously not them. It's not these two. It's not Eggs Benedict. It's not him. It's not him. It's not him. It's gotta be these two.
Take that!
It was the witnesses currently in the stand, the Skulkin brothers. Wait! This does not agree with what the brothers said in testimony before. They said they did not have time to pull dukes from Lucy Lockets. My phrasebook says dukes is meaning hands and Lucy Lockets is meaning pockets. But is this another lie? Is this what you are saying? Yes, I'm afraid so. Now hold on there a minute. You can't be sure of that. I quite agree. The accused is common pick purse after all. It's perfectly possible that she went through the things on the desk to see what she might steal. I think that's unlikely. And why exactly? As you can see from this photographic print, the defendant was pointing a gun at the victim. It would seem, as my learned friend indicated, that she was coercing Mr. Windibank to open the storeroom door. In other words, Miss Lestrade's interest lay within the storeroom, not in the main shop, giving her no reason to touch anything on the counter. All of which points to one thing. The Skulkin brothers have omitted key facts in their testimony. But the accused is a pick purse, common gutter trash. Why look any further at for the wrongdoer here? Because Skulkin brothers are thieves, madame. No better, in fact worse than a pick purse. I believe that these brothers were looking for something on the victim's counter that night. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you would condemn the defendant on the grounds that she's a pickpocket, would it not be right and proper to thoroughly scrutinize testimony given against her by the two thieves? Well said. I, for one, would like to hear more from the shady pair. Uh-oh. How more obvious do you want it, indeed? Indeed. Can you all see now? I think you'll find stereoscopes aren't playthings. You've seen their extraordinary potential firsthand. I already know what Van Zeeks is going to say, that it proves that she was in there shooting him, by the way. We'll return home via Regent Street. Stop. Well, it would seem this trial is yet to run its course. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury have declared their inclinations by the mighty scales of justice. I hereby call this summation examination to conclusion with the balance altered in the defendant's favor. 2 lean to guilty, 4 lean to not guilty. Accordingly, the jury is without consensus, and I order this trial to continue. Yay, well done. Oh, by the way, what? You should hold on to this, Runo. You never know when it might come in useful. But alright. Lord Van Zeeks, you will instruct the witnesses that the court demands additional testimony from them. I'm sure it won't spoil the bouquet to do so, my lord. This is getting crazy. I've won myself another chance to probe that pair about their activities that night at least. I won't stop probing them until I've proven that Gina is innocent. Oh damn! To be continued. Well, we're done. Continue. So effing hungry. Oh man. Got a case of the munchies in the early morning. Hell yeah. Order please. Let us resume proceedings. Witnesses, we will now retake the stand. I presume you heard the defense counsel's summation examination. Oh, yeah, Governor. I did, Gov. I did. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. God blimey! This is going to be hard work. Earlier in this trial, you gave the following testimony about your actions after it entered Windabanks. Well, it was bedlam soon as, weren't it? It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out of my Lucy lockets. However, that was a lie. You brothers, on the night in question, you rifled through the items on the victim's counter. We never done nothing of the sort. How do you figure that out? You will now give formal testimony once again. You will tell the court precisely what happened on the night in question. And this time, you will tell the truth. Each lie that passes your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment. And that, gentlemen, may deal a crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. A thought worth pondering, perhaps. Say no more, Gov. We hear ya. We'll blab, we'll squeak, we'll preach. Illegal entry, the whole truth. But first, I want to go into the court record. You have to pop your 2 prints in here to start with, you see. And then when you look through the eyepieces, you can see the image in 3 dimensions. The important thing to get right is the position of the 2 prints. I don't know who came up with the idea of stereoscopes, but it's really quite fascinating. Okay. I think we got all of our evidence we are going to get in this trial. Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing. It was when we heard the gunshot, see, made us both jump and all that stuff went flying. Lummy, it didn't give me a fright. We was thinking the shooter come out the door and get us next. We stuck everything back where we found it and scarpered straight into him in the back. We couldn't have a shot the pawnbroker, see? We never even had a chance, did we? So you admit to defense's accusation. You did indeed ransack Mr. Windibake's countertop on the night in question. Not ransack, Governor, no. That's right, Nash. That's right. It's more like we tidied up, yeah. Sorry. By their own admission, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery under dubious circumstances. However, they panicked and fled on hearing the gunshot, having first made their good on their mess. The way you say it, we hardly sound like roughs at all. We don't, Nash, we don't. Can't he make us sound a bit more cutthroat? It can't just be coincidence that these men showed up in Windibake's that night. There's more to their testimony than meets the eye. I'm sure of it. And here we go, cross-examination time.
Hold it!
If that's the case, then why didn't you testify to that fact in the first place? Well, you know, we ain't exactly squeaky clean, are we? We ain't, Nash, we ain't. If we admitted to something like that, people would think we was up to no good. Well said, Ringo, me old China? We'd only land ourselves in even more trouble. In fact now, as a result of lying in your previous testimony, that's exactly what you've done. Landed yourselves in even more trouble. That's rotten luck. Says the rotten apple eater. Witnesses, explain your actions to the court. Why did you ransack the victim's counter? We never ransacked nothing. Right, Nash, right. More like we tidied up the place. Oh, shit.
Hold it!
So what you're saying is, the sound of the gunshot shocked you so much you knocked all those things off the counter. Well, it shocked one of us that much, yeah. The bag of nerves needs to learn to keep his shirt on. Look, it was loud, alright. Blimey, me dead granny would have woken up with that bang. Big bruv here screamed like a bloomin' baby and fell over on the counter. He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull whatnot. That got tangled in some marionette. What knocked over a picture frame. What knocked them scales on the floor. You really mastered working quietly then. What a racket. Me granny would have been scared back into her grave with a clatter like that. So in short, the gunshot took you by surprise. And then some. I mean, it was quiet as a mouse, and then all of a sudden, BAM! Uh-oh.
Excuse me.
Inspector Gregson, do you have something to add? Like I keep saying, I don't appreciate being lumped in with those scoundrels. No, something to add about their testimony. You seemed to react just now to what Mr. Skulkin said. Did it make you think of something? It's probably nothing, of course. I wouldn't even bother to mention it, only, well, the fact is, cases don't get solved if you ignore the little details. How about you just tell us what's on your mind? As you know, we brought these fellows into the yard for questioning last night. The statement they gave then told a slightly different story to what they're saying now. Did it? You claimed you heard the victim shout something out before the gunshot. Might have, Gov, might have. Does ring a bell now that you mention it. Granted, it's only a minor detail, but still, I can't help feeling like perhaps you've been a little bit sloppy with your testimony here, eh, fellas? If I discover the witness's testimony has been any more sloppy than it has hitherto proven to be, I shall be forced to bring the very harshest punishment to bear against them. We'll get it right this time. That's it, yup. It's all coming back to me now. Then speak! Supplement your testimony with whatever details you have miraculously returned to your questionable minds, sirs. Uh-oh. Raise your archive. Give me 1 second. I need to drink the old water. There we go. Okay.
Hold it!
So in fact, you heard the voice and the gunshot almost simultaneously. We did, Gov, we did. Although, I suppose if you're being honest, we heard a kind of wavering voice before the yell and all. If you don't want to get shot, give me that gun. Kind of thing. A career in acting tragically missed. And where were the voices coming from, could you tell? Of course we could. From the other side of that door behind the counter it was. From the storeroom, where the victim was found dead. And the voice you heard was that of the victim, Mr. Windabank? On my granny's life, of course it was. On his granny's life, of course it was. So that would mean that you both knew Mr. Windabank and the sound of his voice. Eh? So that would mean what? What, Nash, what? Any ideas? Yes, Counsel, indeed it would. Nah. We didn't know the geezer. How am I supposed to deny it when that bloke in all the fancy clobber's giving us the evil eye? If you value your lives, you'll ensure your testimony is accurate and true. On me granny's life it is. On his granny's life it must be. To summarize then, immediately after hearing the voice of the victim, you then hear the gunshot, causing you to stumble and upset the items on the counter, scaring them all over the shop floor. You make it sound like we're clumsy. Don't forget we tied up like good little boys. Anyway, the way I see it,
Objection!
you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windabank, was wielding a gun. Is that correct? That's it, Gov. You got the picture? He has, Nash. He has, no question. And yet the photographic evidence from the time of the incident clearly shows that Mr. Windabank was not in possession of a firearm of any description.
Objection!
You surprise me. Does the defense really intend to highlight evidence that compromises the position of the accused even more? Furthermore, the defense has failed to establish a photographic print presented was taken a suitably short time prior to the victim's death. Her chronology is severely lacking, Counsel. Yeah, that's right. Too right, Nash, too right. The old geezer could have been about to turn the tables on the girl, eh? Hardly likely. Oh, I'm afraid this won't stand as conclusive evidence. Continue with the cross-examination, Counsel. Not in your life. It went deathly quiet after that, it did. Put the wind right up me. But anyway, the door was locked, weren't it? No way that was opening. Yes, of course. It was locked from the inside, or so we've been led to believe. It was, Gov. It was, from the inside. Right, we had no way of knowing what was going on in there, did we? Unless there was some other way to get a view of the inside of the storeroom, like through the keyhole or a spy hole, perhaps? Don't ring no bells, don't light no lights. We had to cut and run before we noticed anything like that. We're still cutting our teeth in this game, see? But one day, we'll really cut the mustard. Please cut it out. But as we know, behind the door was the victim's lifeless body, with the accused not 2 feet away. Yes, unfortunately. Gina was in there, unconscious, with a gun in her hand. To confirm, would it be correct to say that neither of you set foot inside the storeroom? That's right, Gov. That's right. Couldn't have, even if we wanted to.
Hold it!
Yes, whereupon you fired a shot from your own gun at Mr. Herlock Schultz. Oh, we was a bit hasty there. We was, Nash, we was. Truth be told, I was already shaking like a leaf when you lot turned up. You were shaking like a leaf? Don't put a loaded gun in your hand. Good advice, miss. Good advice. Truth be told, me mind went totally blank. Before your mind goes totally blank, make sure you don't have a loaded gun in your hand. Mental note made, miss. After that, we legged it down the street, but apparently we looked dodgy to the coppers or something, so they clapped the darbies on us like winking. After you've been handcuffed, the police found this revolver in your possession, correct? Well, yeah. But listen, that proves it, doesn't it?
Hold it!
And why should we believe that? Eh, what? Well, 'cause it's true, ain't it? The place was totally empty when we went in. At that time, the victim was already in the storeroom, having been forced to open the door by the accused, who had a gun to his head. In other words, on the night in question, these two witnesses never even laid eyes on the proprietor of the pawnbrokery, Mr. Windabank. Correct? You've got it, mister. Down to a T. So the Skulkin brothers never actually encountered Mr. Windabank. Is that really true, I wonder? No. That's it? That's the full extent of their testimony? What is it, Renault? You look very fierce. I could pour you some herbal tea if you're tired. Oh, thank you, but I'm fine. Being such a logical thinker, you'll probably laugh. I feel as though these brothers are still hiding something important. Nothing more than a feeling, though. I have no proof to support it. Well, feelings can be very logical at times. Sorry? People's expressions, movement of their eyes, words they choose. You can take all that in with your brain and will quietly analyze it and come up with a feeling like you described. Concluded that there's something suspicious about this testimony without knowing why, that's all. I think you should trust your instincts. Iris, thank you. Sometimes I think she's 10 years old. I must be 5. Damn, fursuits are expensive as fuck. Oh yeah. That's a lot of work that they put in there. They put a lot of work in there. Yeah, $5 grand. Yeah, damn. It's crazy. Yeah, fair. It's all manual labor, yeah. And I mean, it's also built to people's specifications as well. Holding a gun.
Hold it!
Okay. They were like a Grandpa 5, I would have never guessed, yeah. Some makers stream, so I've seen the work they do. Oh yeah.
Objection! Objection!
God damn it.
Objection!
So you're saying that on the night in question, I just thought about it, he's got his back to her. You know? The victim, Mr. Windibank, was wielding a gun, is that correct? That's it, Gov. You got the picture. Yes, Nash, yes, no question. And yet, photographic evidence obtained immediately after an incident clearly shows that Mr. Windibank was not holding a firearm of any description. And you what? Gordon Bennett, that ain't right.
Objection!
There can be no question about the victim's revolver was used in the incident. I would remind the court that Mr. Windibank's gun was found at the scene. Not only was it identified as a murder weapon, but it was found in the accused's hand. Yeah, that mold tooler used the victim's own gun to finish him off. Give me that gun! Bam! Kind of thing.
Hold it!
Stay exactly where you are. Right there. Eh? If the crime had taken place as you so colorfully described in your testimony, it would give rise to undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out. Goodness, are you sure, Counsel? You intrigue me, my learned friend, but let's see some evidence to support your claim. Uh-oh. They want evidence! But yeah, they are pretty expensive. From the back.
Take that!
According to their testimony, the witnesses claim to have heard a shout, "Give me that gun," followed by the gunshot. Indeed, with the two events happening almost simultaneously, or so we've been led to believe. Yes, that's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that at the moment of death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, in the autopsy report, it clearly states that the victim died instantly after being shot from behind. So, as I stated before, there is undeniable inconsistency in your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. But, it's the God's honest truth. It is, Nash, it is. When it was shot that night, the shopkeeper had a gun in his hand. We saw it with our own bleeding eyes. Did I hear you right just now? You actually saw Mr. Windenbank holding a gun? Something like that might have slipped out. Ladies and gentlemen, you all just heard the admission of these two witnesses that on the night in question, they actually saw with their own eyes the victim wielding a gun, which can only mean that despite their testimony to the contrary, the Skulkin brothers must have encountered the victim in person. Nash? Witnesses, explain yourselves at once. Well, the thing is, it weren't supposed to, it would seem that my previous warning fell on deaf ears. I made it quite clear that false witness would be the death of you. And am I to understand that you replaced the untruths of your original testimony with renewed lies? I'm ever so sorry, Governor. Truth is, see, we, cut it out, Nash, cut it out. If we blab now, you know what it'll do to us? Who are they talking about? Let me make your position here perfectly clear. You will talk. There's no other option available to you. Bruv, come on, the game's up. But you'll have our guts for garters. In case it hasn't quite sunk in yet, no matter how hard you try to hide it, the truth will come out. On the night in question, it is now apparent that you brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand that you testify again and explain the precise circumstances under which this meeting took place. Well, do we have to? On pain of death. I suggest you make yourselves fully aware that this is your very last chance to tell the truth. These two are my favorite witnesses. Yeah, they're so good. These poor guys. They're covering something up. Alright, so we just got inside the gaff and have even a sigh of relief when the geezer showed his mug. Give me that gun, he bellowed, and then he flew at us like he was possessed. I thought we'd had. For an old geezer, that bloke was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter. I pulled me gun on him, and then he legged it through that door into the back room. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's all what happened, I swear. Yeah, that didn't happen, bitch. So now you're telling us moments before the victim was killed in the storeroom, you in fact encountered him in the main part of the shop. Well, yeah. Sorry. Well, we find ourselves at an interesting juncture. This changes matters considerably. But honest, Governor, this time, Nash, this time, we ain't got nothing more to hide. Very well, counsel for the defense, you may proceed with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. This is it. Moment I've been waiting for. These two are brain-dead idiots. I love it.
Hold it!
When you say geezer, I presume you mean the victim and the proprietor of the shop, Mr. Windenbank. Who else? Sorry, I mean, that's right. We was keeping a close eye on the entrance to the gaff, obviously. But we never thought no one was going to come out of the back room like that. Back room meaning the pawnbrokery storeroom? Yeah, that must be where he popped up from. Only place he could have been. So it seemed the victim was already in the storeroom when these brothers entered the premises. Which means Ginny must have been in there at that point as well. But that doesn't make sense, does it? If Gina had threatened Mr. Windenbank in the storeroom with her at gunpoint, then why would he have emerged from the same room all alone when the brothers arrived? Oh, I don't know. Did you see the accused at that time? What? That Moltooler? Couldn't tell you. No way, Cobber. We had bigger fish to fry then. I mean, the old geezer just lost it.
Hold it!
You mentioned that Mr. Windenbank shouted those words in your previous testimony too. However, you claimed that you heard him telling them on the other side of the storeroom door. Oh, did we? But the truth is, he was shouting those words at you, wasn't he? Well, yeah. Was the victim, Mr. Windenbank, wielding a gun at the time? Was he ever, blimey loomy? A great ugly barrel he had, pointed straight at me frontispiece. So what you're saying is, you definitely saw Mr. Windenbank with a gun at that time, is that right? It is, Gov. It is. Spot on. Then all of a sudden, he came at us, he did. It was bedlam. I didn't know who was going for who. We're clearly all going for each other. Like Nash said, we thought we had it, I mean. We're all... Oh yeah, I already read that.
Hold it!
Yes, I know that you mentioned the counter in your previous testimony too. Well, yeah, of course we did. He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull whatnot. That got tangled in some marionette we thought... Oh, okay, scales on floor. So in fact, it wasn't the sound of the gunshot that shocked you and made you knock those things off the counter. Well, Big Bruv here went flying over that counter like a gunshot, I can tell you. That old geezer pinned him. He did, Nash, he did. If you hadn't been there, the bloke would have flattened me like a bloomin' pancake in seconds. At the time in question, the alarm was raised at the local police station by a secret cable from the pawnbrokery. There's a button under the counter used to activate it, which was presumably pressed by the victim. That's right, when the brothers fled the scene and back onto the street, they ran straight into the arriving police, didn't they? Poor Mr. Windenbank. He did everything he could do to protect his shop.
Hold it!
Were you intending to shoot Mr. Windenbank? No. Never! I was just, you know, looking out for me bruv, weren't I? He was being flattened, don't forget. By a man whose shop was being burgled, yes. And then the man fled into the storeroom where you pointed your gun at him. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. He shoved me away, then ran off through that door and shut himself in. There's something about that last remark. Something that doesn't quite ring true. What? Well, according to what everyone's saying, Ginny was in there waiting for him with a gun. Ah, yes, that's right. Gina allegedly used Mr. Windibank's gun to threaten him and force him to open the storeroom door. In which case, how did the gun end up in Mr. Windibank's hands again? I have no idea, but that is strange, isn't it? Look, the point is, me and my bruv here. That's right, Nash. That's right, me and the bruv here.
Hold it!
You say you had nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Nothing, Gov, nothing. The old geezer went and shut himself in the back room, didn't he? Locked it was, from the inside. We know it was, because we tried to open it. But it's a decent door, that one. Good and strong, wouldn't budge an inch. So in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Inside the storeroom with the pawnbroker, there was only one other person. The sole person who could possibly have shot the victim, the accused, Miss Gina Lestrade. It would indeed appear so. What say you to that, Counsel? I don't know. Was there anyone else apart? Okay, here we go. Eh? What? What's that look for? From the moment you admitted that you encountered the victim face to face that night, the course of this trial changed completely. It did? What is your point, my learned friend? The question we must answer is, who could have shot Mr. Windibank? It is the belief of the defense that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all. You have my attention. In that case, let us return to his plan of the premises. The victim was killed in a storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts. So pray, what other possible answer to the question of who shot the man could there be? Counsel, you must now provide answers to court in respect to two conundrums. Two, my lord? Twice as many chances to be right, maybe. Indeed, namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim? And furthermore, where was the victim at the time? Understood, my lord. Are you alright, Runo? I'm not entirely sure, but there's one thing I'm sure about. If I can prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely. So now, time for some clarity. Show the court on this plan the answers to the questions posed by his lordship.
Take that!
The culprit could have been shot. And in answer to the second question,
Take that! Objection!
show is that your own position is absurd as those that... Okay. From where did the culprit shoot the victim, and where was the victim at the time? Well, I don't see why we can't show that someone other than Ginny could have done it in the storeroom.
Take that! Take that!
Okay.
Objection!
Yep.
Take that! Take that! Objection!
Okay, well, we just have to take that. We're gonna leave it for now. Okay. So that's all those brothers are willing to reveal this time, is it? They're still hiding something, don't you think? It's almost certainly because those two, that poor Mr. Windbank, well, can't let them get away with it, Runo. I know, but I got a good feeling that there's even less evidence at my disposal this time to prove that they did it. We've come so far. Now's the time to finish them off. Well, I'll do my best.
Hold it!
He chucked me over the counter.
Hold it!
I'm trying to make sure there's... nothing else that they want to tell me. Gina's the only one. There was no one else in the room. With an attitude like that, Rena, it really will be all. Wide-eyed, sweating, smug, and happy. That's about it. Anyway, I think you might want to consider some other possibilities here. Or rather, you won't get anywhere. I'm just here for moral support, remember?
Hold it!
Okay. I have to load again?
Take that! Take that! Objection!
Man. This is so hard.
Take that!
I don't get it. I don't get it where they want me to put it on the map, so I'm just gonna look it up, but I'm gonna look it up off stream. And so that's what we're going to do there, guys. I will see everybody. Thank you to GFRX, thank you to Bjarn, thank you to all my lurkers. I appreciate everyone. Tomorrow, we'll continue on with more of this trial. And, yeah, see you guys then. Bye.